But, hi! For those of you who don't know, my name is Kim. I'm a senior at Casco Bay High School, and this is my senior culmination. The culminations to the senior expeditions this year were based around finding a slice of the solution to the problems that your expedition addresses. Just a small thing that we can do as a community to solve the greater issues that we want to address in the world. The topic of my culmination, or my expedition, was Black representation in the media. The lack thereof, the inaccuracy thereof, all of the above. So this expedition is all about giving our students, our Black soon-to-be rulers of like whatever, I don't know, man. It's about giving them a platform to tell their stories and reminding everyone that not only do our stories matter, or do our lives matter, but our stories matter as well. So before I get to the storytellers tonight, I have to tell you a little bit about how this idea came to be. So a lot of you probably know this, but I think the only word for it is a fangirl. I love stories. I love novels and movies, comic books and television. It's all one of my favorite things of life. And last year, or this fall, I had an opportunity to go to the New York Comic Convention, or New York Comic Con, which, by the way, if you are a lover of stories, is the place to be. It's amazing. There were over 150,000 people there. There were panels and artists and authors and directors, actors, the whole 9 yards. And while I was there, I had the opportunity to go to the Women of Color in Comics panel. And while I was sitting in the audience, one of the panelists said something that really stuck to me. She was talking about how these grand movies, my favorite genres, the superhero movies, the sci-fi fantasies, they are meant to represent our potential. They're meant to be our future. And when these studios and authors produce works of art that don't have a single Black person in them, they're writing us out of the future. And when you look at our media today as the sitcoms, the historical dramas, all of that, they're writing us out of our present and our past as well. And for some people, the media is a reality TV show they watch after they get home from work, and it doesn't mean much. But the way I see media, and I think a deeper way to look at it, is as a real-time cultural archive. It documents what is important to us as a nation. It documents our values, our fears, and it means that it's really important that we have equal representation in it. And sometimes when this phenomena of writing us out happens, it's not always malicious. Sometimes it's because a director or producer just doesn't have a lot of Black people in their lives. And then when they make worlds, they reflect the mind and the environment of the author. Sometimes it happens because there aren't enough Black people behind the camera to say, wait, where am I in this story? And sometimes it happens, unfortunately, because the studio executives don't think that white audiences can connect to a Black main character. But that is what we're here to combat. We are here to remind everyone that we are here. Our stories matter, our lives matter. We're here to help the next generation of Black storytellers hone their skills. And I think what's so special about this is that you are all here to send the message and make the statement that any open audience can connect to any well-written character and any well-crafted story. Whether you're Black or white or Asian, whether you're Christian or Muslim, we are people, and some stories are universal. So that is why I'm so excited to welcome you all here and have these wonderful people tell you their stories. First up.
Wait a minute.
Oh, yeah. First up is Zahara. You got this?
Hi, I'm Zahara.
Hi.
I know everyone here. Everybody knows me. Great. So, a little bit nervous. So, what I'm going to talk about tonight is the first time I realized that not only was I black, but I was different because I was black. And it goes back to about, I was 5 years old, and my dad had taken my sister, Kiana, and I to McDonald's to get some chicken nuggets, my fave. And after we had begged our dad for chicken nuggets, we went in and avoided our food and went to play. And my sister and I were climbing in the tunnels, going down the slides, stuff like that. And I was very social, and I wanted to make friends, and I wanted to see who I could play with. And I ran into this little girl. It was like we were facing each other, face to face, in this tube up above you can see everything else that's going on below. And I was like, oh, like, do you want to play with my sister and I? Like, we should play tag or something or have fun. And she was like, no, I can't because you guys are black and I can't. My dad said no. He said, I can't play with you guys. He's like, if I play with you guys, he's going to come and beat you guys up. And at first I was like, I mean, I was only 5, so I didn't really realize that something bad had happened or something that should make me offended until I went and told my dad. And my dad was like, wait, he's like, that's not okay. And my sister and I were still like, but we don't get it. And it was like sitting in the car on the way home, it was like the first time that I realized, I guess in a sense it put into fact that you don't realize something different about yourself until somebody points it out. And so that kind of altered the way I saw myself for a good portion of my life. And then I had another experience in 2nd grade. I just transferred to a new elementary school, and there was this girl, Abigail. She had the most beautiful, like, blonde, long, straight hair, and the most beautiful skin, and the most beautiful eyes, and I was like, I want that. I was like, I am jealous, I want that. And I remember going home to my mom and being like, Mom, I need a straightener, I need to straighten my hair, like, why am I black? Like, why do I have to be in this body? I remember just wanting so badly to be white. And it was like, from then on, I had tried to do things to make myself different for other people, and it just wasn't working out exactly. And then I kind of had a conversation with my dad about why it's okay to be black, why it's a beautiful thing to be black, why it's good to appreciate where you come from and what you look like. And I kind of just realized that if I'm gonna do something to change myself, I'm gonna do it because I want to do it for myself. Like, I straighten my hair, but it's not for the same reason anymore, and it's almost a liberating feeling to be able to look at yourself in the mirror as a black individual and be like, this is okay. Like, I don't want to be someone anymore. I don't want to be someone that I'm not.
Storytelling is not as easy as you would think. It's not the way that we talk to each other in conversation and say, oh, this thing happened. Wasn't it funny? And that's like, I told a good story. And these guys have been working with me and dealing with all of this for the last couple of weeks, and they absolutely deserve a round of applause. So. Up next is Patty Nwani.
everybody. So I don't have anything written, so I might do things where I go back and be like, oh wait, I forgot this. So this story, I'm hoping it to be funny. I want it to be funny. It's comedic, and not to say that racism is funny because it's not, but so laugh because I want to feel like it's actually funny. Thank you. So yeah, my name is Patty. I came here from Sudan when I was 3, and that was a crazy experience. Being a little kid, living in a place where I knew like almost everyone. People looked like me, talked like me, spoke the same language. It was great. Then I came to America. Met different people, different sizes, different colors, just crazy different. Not just pale skin, but they have slightly dark skin, olive skin. What is this? This is a new planet to me. I'm 3 years old, imagination, these are aliens. Who are they? So it was a very crazy experience, you know, meeting new people, talk different. I met someone for the first time who had a different accent, and I was crazily just didn't know what to do. I was like, why is your voice different? Why do you talk like that? And the person tried to explain to me, but I just wouldn't get it. I was like, no, that's wrong. That's not okay. You have to talk like me. You have to be the same. Eventually, though, I lost my accent. Now I talk like this. That changed, and I guess I realized that things are different, very different. People talk differently, people look differently, people just are different in general. And I guess it became a big thing that made it so I loved meeting new people in just all the time. And we started going to church. We found a new church that was near our house, and that was just an amazing opportunity to meet new people. They all had the same religion as me, but they were so different. So that was great. And I guess I became a big church fanatic. Not really because of the religion, not because of the book, not because the Bible. Like, the Bible was great, but I mean, it wasn't the reason I went to church. Not the reason I went to church. So I'd go to church to meet a new kid. I'd go to church to meet a new parent even. I'd talk to them, say hi. I'd play with the babies that would sit in the pews behind me or in front of me, and it was just an amazing experience. Then I started going to school, which was across the parking lot from the church that I went to. Cathedral, it was the name that Tony knows, who went there with me. Viva 2. That was a fun experience. So yeah, I went to Cathedral. It's shut down now. I was one of the students, last graduating students. And I went to school, I started going to school there 2nd grade. Before that I went to Reiki, but that was public school because, you know, public schools, no money, you don't have to pay for all of it. It's free, you know? That's why I chose to go there. But then my dad found Cathedral, so I started going there. And it was very weird. The kids, like, I had to wear uniform, so that was a whole new experience. Again, just experiences everywhere, new experiences everywhere. And so I'm being thrown into wearing uniform. We had one day a week where we'd go to church, but I couldn't play with the kids. I had to be quiet, sit next to the teacher, you know, complete silence. So church became a new experience for me. But you know, I still go each Sunday with my family, and I would still take the opportunity to play with kids and stuff and whatnot. And church became great again. And for me, going to church, coming back from church, something would always happen. I bought a new dress one time, went to church, it was great, had new shoes, new dress, excited. Came back and I was pooped on by a seagull. And it mainly went only on me. Why? I don't know. I was next to my mom and my aunt. They were both walking with me. My little brother was in a stroller. They were getting pushed. A little bit went on his stroller, didn't touch him, but it all went on me. I think it chose me personally. Ever since that day, I've hated seagulls, so that's a whole other thing. One time, though, we were coming back home from church. We had met up with a family friend there. We have a very big family, so we were coming home from church, 8 kids and my mom, and then we meet up with family friend, even bigger family. 12 kids, that's fun, and their mom. So I lived close enough to the church that we could walk to and from church. So we were walking home from the church, looked like it was a cult or something. A huge group going, trying to cross the streets was difficult, was horribly difficult. So we were walking home and we made it back, but right when we made it back, my mom can't find her keys. We're locked out of the house. That's fun. But it was the summer, so it was okay. It was the summer, it wasn't cold. Except I was in a skirt and a blouse, and I hated wearing skirts so very much. Pants were my favorite, so I was getting really antsy really quickly. And there were so many little kids running everywhere. They just wanted to get out of their church clothes. Suits, not fun. Ties, no thank you. So they're running around trying to get out of the clothes, and we're trying to keep them clean from messing up their church clothes and running in dirt, mud, whatsoever. And my dad, we were thinking, hey, we can call him up, have him come and open the door. He's at work. Except he works all the way in Saco, Portland, Saco. Very 2-hour drive? Not really? I don't know. I don't know. So we were stranded. We didn't know how to get in. So many kids, my 2 parents only, didn't know how to handle that. And I was young, so I couldn't help out with that. I was a kid myself. I couldn't help take care of other kids. So we're stranded, and we think, hey, we could try and get in some other way. And so we have a balcony that's not very high. I moved from that house, but we had a balcony that wasn't very high, so it was easy to try and climb up there. Couldn't do that because my brother was not tall enough to reach the little columns that made up the little fence that stopped the balcony from the floor. And so that didn't work out. And behind our house we had the apartments were for 2 families. So we had upstairs and then downstairs, and there was this little roof in the back that was over a patio for the people who lived downstairs. So we got up there, and we were like, we can get in through the window because there's a window over there. We had 2 windows over there. Unfortunately, windows not it's unlocked, but the screen is down and that is locked. We had to try and get that moved. And behind our house there's also this apartment building, big green apartment building. And some lady pops her head out from the top floor. Don't know how she saw it. Hawkeyes, I don't know. And so she pops her head out and she's like, hey, she's yelling, hey, what are you doing? She didn't have to yell. She was trying to get everyone to hear it. I don't know why she was yelling. She was being very obnoxious. And so she yells, hey, what are you doing? We're like, oh, we're trying to get in. And she says, well, that's not okay. We've been living there for about 8 years now. Everyone on the street knows us, even she does. So I don't know why she thought that we were breaking into our own home. She knew we lived there for 8 years now, so I don't know what was going through her mind. She was smoking, so I don't know if maybe it was a cigarette, maybe it was something else. Not only was she smoking one, she was smoking 2. She had both cans filled. one by one. And so I don't know what was in those, what was making her think like that. And so she's like, hey, you can't be doing that. We're like, it's okay, we live here, you know that. And she's like, no, you don't live here. I've been here for 10 years now. I know everyone on the street. Well, guess what? We've been here for 8 years. You know us. And So she's like, I'm gonna call the cops. We're like, okay, maybe they can help us get in. So yeah, go ahead and call them, thank you. Thanks for the help. And she's like, that's not okay, you guys need to stop. She's still yelling, brings out another person from the window next to her. That's a whole other apartment, new person. And she's like, what's going on? You can hear them. It's not a private conversation. I don't know if they wanted it to be or not, but you can hear them. And she's like, hey, what's going on? And the lady who's smoking says, well, these guys, these people, they're trying to break into this house of such a nice family. I'm like, we're the nice family. That's us. We're the nice family that lives here. Thank you very much. And so she's like, and she decides to repeat the same thing. Hey, you can't be doing that. I'm going to call the cops. Thank you. Please do. And so we're finally, and I don't know why they thought we were breaking in, because it's such a big group and most of them are little kids. So I don't know, and it's broad daylight, sun is shining. Who breaks into the house in broad daylight with a bunch of little kids and and 2 or 3 of them are 1 or 2 year olds. So 2 of them are 2-year-olds, and the youngest one can't even crawl yet, still in a stroller, being I don't know who brings that to a break-in. I don't know if they would do that. I don't know if they would do that, and they thought, yo, they have our idea, you know. And so I'm super confused. And then a few other friends come from the Boys and Girls Clubs, which was only a few feet away from our, like, around the block from our house. And so they come and they're like, oh, what's going on? Oh, we're locked out of our house and we're trying to get in. No, they're breaking in! They're breaking in! They're gonna steal everything! Stop them! That guy's black too, so I don't know if she thought that he was gonna, like, I don't know. And she's like, and then, no, but, the other lady that's not smoking, she's like, he's with them. He's gonna help break in too. Don't you see what he looks like? I'm like, okay, God. Jeez. And then my niece's mother, she had been living a few minutes away. So she drives over and she's like, hey, what's going on? Do you guys need help? Yeah, we're trying to get in. And so they tell her, they're breaking in, you need to stop them, call the cops. I'm thinking, you said you were going to call the cops 5 minutes ago. I was kind of hoping you would, and you didn't. And now you're telling this woman to call the cops. That's not going to work. It doesn't happen like that. And so she gets up there and she's helping to get the screen open. And they're trying to get in, my brother. And finally, Mom was like, you know what, screw it. Go to the playground, get your clothes ready. I don't care. I just want you out of my hair. So I get to the playground, and we're playing around, and they're still trying to get in. And I get bored. I'm like between the age of I want to play and I don't want to play. I don't know. And so I leave the playground, I come back, and they're like, you guys are going to steal everything from such a nice family. Please leave them alone. I'm like, well, I don't know if I would steal everything from my room and then come back and be like, whoa, what happened? Oh my God, my stuff is gone. So I don't know what was going on through her mind, still don't know. To this day, I don't know. I don't know if she still lives there. New family lives there though. But so we finally get in, and the women are still over there watching us with hawk eyes. They didn't leave to eat or get a drink. I don't know if they're superhuman. So they're just there, and we finally get in. We get all the kids inside, get them changed, send them back out to the playground. Mom still wants them out of her hair. She does not want them inside. And so we're in, we're done, everything's over. We call her, my dad say everything's fine, we're inside, and I think everything's good. Then about 30 minutes later, I look outside, they are still watching. I don't know if they ever left. I hope they did, because that would be pretty scary. As a kid, I'm like, what is wrong with them? What is happening? I don't understand why they think I'm breaking into my own house. But as I got older, thinking on to that story, I get why they thought that. And I think it's the stupidest reason ever. My family still laughs at this. We still find it funny. It's something we tell over. We're watching a movie and we're like, hey, remember that time we got accused of breaking into our house? That was funny. Oh my gosh, I remember that day. And so it's something that we look back on and we laugh at. We don't take it seriously. We really don't. Honestly, I think if we took it seriously, it would give more power over the people who do things like that. And so it's now just a joke that we laugh at, and sometimes when we go back there, we look up and see if they're still watching.
Due to a lot of peer pressure, I have decided to tell a story. Thank you for sharing.
Let's go. You did force somebody to join a play, so.
Okay, all right.
I'm famous for forcing people to do this.
Okay, so anyways, this is a story that I told at the Moth a couple years ago, our own little Casco Bay Moth. The prompt was fear, and the only thing, like, the first thing that popped into my mind when I thought of fear was the most terrifying part of my childhood, whenever I had to have my hair combed.
I feel.
She feels. And I just remember being really little, and my mom standing me up on this little step stool, it's purple, it's still in our kitchen, in front of the bathroom mirror, and just having to stare at my reflection as I weeped. Oh my goodness, it was like the bane of my existence. And I still remember the sound that the brush made, because my mom, God bless her, I love you, hi. She didn't know a whole bunch at that point about trying to deal with a little black girl's hair. Oh, my mom's white, she's right there. Her name's Jill, she's really lovely. Yeah, he gets me. So she didn't use a comb at that point, she used a brush. And I remember the sound it made, and it was just this tearing, yeah, there. And it just, I could feel, it was like this, the hair was pulling at the root of my soul, and I could feel it just, I swear with everything, every single stroke, I swear it was going to come out. It didn't. I might have been a little bit melodramatic, but there you go. Oh, the other thing you have to realize is you'll have to use your imagination, but this was Little Kim, big afro. There, it was out here. So when I was little, because the other black girls' moms had more time, more expertise, I don't know, but they had these really nice cornrows, or they had these braids with the little like flower or butterfly barrettes at the end. And I didn't have that, but I was okay with that once I figured out what that meant. So what I had when I was little was just all of my hair pulled up into a bun at the top of my head, which would have been a ponytail if it weren't so puffy, but it was just all up here. And I ended up looking like this weird, like, deformed unicorn, like with a sad bulbous horn. And that was kind of my life. I dealt with it. I cried every morning. I believed that my pain was worse than the world's pain. And I just kind of had to deal with that until one day my dad sat me down and he says, "Kim, what do you think about getting your hair cut like Malcolm?" And Malcolm is my older brother, and at that point, he was bald. And my immediate reaction was, no, 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 I don't think so. I'm a girl, I have a girl's haircut because I was wee and I didn't get it. I was just like, I can't have a bald head. He's like, no, no, it would be short. He's like, I can't have short hair, I'm a girl. And he said, but Kim, you won't have to comb it. And my ears kind of perked up. And I realized that, oh, I don't have to deal with that sound anymore. I don't have to deal with the little bubbles, those weird hair ties that were these two different ones cinched in the middle with a metal plate, yeah, with these marbles on the ends that just had the density of a dying sun. They were so painful every time a sad mother's hand slipped and pulls it back and lets it go, and I can hear the sound of my skull fracturing, I'm sure. And I thought about those things. I wouldn't have to stand on the purple stool anymore. I wouldn't have to deal with the hairbrush or the bubbles. And I said, okay, I can deal with that. And then after my mom and my dad split up, I went with my mom to Maine with my brother, and my hair started growing back. And it just kind of kept growing, and in our house, we live a very special kind of life. We don't really maintain things so much. If something goes wrong, we'll deal with it. But, like, for example, our blinds haven't really been cleaned since our last major guests came over.
Move on.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Basic point is, we're not a constant maintenance family. If something goes wrong, we'll fix it, no problem. But the maintenance is the problem. So my hair grew. I love you, I'm sorry. It's important for the story. So my hair grew, and it started becoming more of a problem, but I mean, Mom doesn't really care about my hair. I didn't really care about my hair. I took a shower in the morning, I kind of did that, and it was good. Until it wasn't, at all. And we reached a point in my life where once a month, my mom had kind of figured it out. We started going to this hair salon that had my favorite lady, Justina. And she, short, like, almost like nearly orange woman who specialized, I loved it, she specializes in mixed race hair. So she understood that like this part was kinky, but then this part was straight, and all of these weird things that were happening on my head, and she got it, and she made me feel so special. And she told my mom we had the comb. We had the comb that would make my life easier. It was big, it was like this large and this wide, and it was perfect. And we had Hawaiian Silky. The best conditioner ever. It saved my life. And so we were kind of figuring stuff out. But then I just started putting Hawaiian Silky in my hair in the morning and then be like, that's it! And going to school every day. Doesn't make for great hair in the end. So I had to be sat down once a month, last Sunday of every month, in front of the TV on a bigger stool this time. And my mom would turn on the television and rip through a month's worth of my negligence. And oh, did it hurt. Oh my goodness. She kept saying, sit up straight, Kim. And I was like, okay. And then she'd pull and I'd be like, what? No, Kim, you need to sit up straight. All right, I can't do it. What are you out? But it also allowed me to ignore my hair all month, sleep in late, not have to deal with it. So I paid my penance on the last Sunday. And then I went to visit my dad one summer, and my grandma was there. And this is my old Jamaican grandmother up to America to visit her son and her grandchildren. It was going to be wonderful. And I didn't really care, because I was a kid. And what I did care about was the fact that I was going to see my best friend from childhood. I was going to go have a sleepover at her house. Hannah. Her name was Hannah. She had two sisters. Hannah was my best friend. She was the middle child. The younger one was annoying. And her older sister was a goddess. Probably not really, but in my mind she was glamorous. She was beautiful. She wore makeup. She was the first person to put mascara on me, which was a mistake at the time, but it meant a lot that I see these people and I'd be like, well, it's been years, so I have to look nice. But my hair. So my grandmother sits me down and she's like, I'll fix your hair before we go out. It's gonna be fine. And she starts combing it, and I'm like, okay, I can deal with this. She's just gonna do the thing that my mom did. Bulbous unicorn, I can deal with it. I think it looks nice. I mean, whatever, it's good. And then she starts braiding it. And that's not something I was used to. And I didn't have it was an afro, but there wasn't like enough to make long braids. So she did the classic little black girl's braids, which are about this long and they're about this thick and they're brown and they're lumpy. And when I got up from the first time she did my hair and looked at myself in the mirror, all I could see were these little poops attached to my head. That's all I could see, and I was like, I cannot see Hannah and her big sister with poops attached to my head. So I go back to her and I say, Grandma, 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 I'm so sorry. Thank you so much. Can you do it again? Which is not something that you really ask of an old Jamaican grandmother. I don't know how she dealt with it, but she said, okay. She did my hair again, but she braided it again. And I was like, no, Grandma, you don't understand. I just want you to take all of it and put it on top of my head and we'll be good. It's fine, we'll be great. And so the third time she starts doing that and I'm like, okay, this is good, we're gonna work it out. And then she starts braiding my hair again. And so I go into the bathroom after, I say, thank you very much, Grandma. And I look in the mirror and I have my little bulbous unicorn thing, but then she's braided the sides down, and I don't know what I look like. I have the worst of both worlds. I don't know what's going on. So I figure, I'm not going to see my friends like this. I can do it. And I start trying to take out the braids, which was a mistake. Because bubbles, despite the fact that they are painful torture weapons, are also really counterintuitive. When you take a tie and you put it around your hair, it's like, okay, cool, I'll just take it out. Bubbles are tied in knots and cinched, and whenever you take them out, your hands slip and they snap you, and then they get stuck. And I got about 3 of these braids out. And then my dad knocks on the door. And in that moment, I don't think I've ever been more afraid in my entire life. Because I look in the mirror, I've got half a bun up here, I've got half braids over here, and I've got a rat's nest on the side of my hair with bubbles stuck in it. I'm like, I'm never gonna get it done, I'm never gonna get it done. He knocks on the door again. No, just a minute, I can get it out. And then he opens the door and he sees me. And I thought I was afraid when he knocked, but when he saw me, and he grabbed me and he drags me down the stairs and he sits me down in front of my grandmother and he says, you apologize right now. And I say, Grandma, I'm really, really sorry. I didn't really know. I haven't seen my friend in a really long time and you didn't do my hair the way I wanted to. And then,
bang, bang.
Yeah. My dad used to spank my brother and I. But that works out for him quite well. It's like a cultural thing. He's fine with it. My white hippie mother is more in favor of the timeout. So after a couple years, I remember the day that my mom sees the no spanking flyer in the doctor's office, goes home and tells my dad, not anymore. So he doesn't hit me on the bottom, he hits me on the thigh. And I feel it burning. And I was terrified. I knew it was red. I knew it stung. I could feel where his hand hit me. And he said, go to your room right now. And I went to my room. And I got up there and I sat on the bed and I was like, that really hurt. I can't believe he hit me. I can't believe he hit me. So a couple minutes later, he comes up. He has the phone in his hand. My mom's on the line. And I'm like, all right, let's go. Got my white hippie mother on the phone. We'll see who's the boss now. And I pick it up and I say, Mom, Daddy hit me. And she says, what did you do wrong? Which is not what I was expecting. And I realize that I'm alone on this one. So, finish that conversation. I'm not going to see my friend. I was very much so grounded, which I didn't know could happen while you were on vacation, but it can. My brother was not grounded though, and he wanted to go to the pool. So after my dad sat me down and gave me these very novice, very silly looking braids, but they weren't thick. So I was okay. I did not have poop coming out of my head. I was like, fine, let's go. We go down to the pool. The nice public pool, everyone's playing, but I was not even allowed to change into my swimsuit because I was grounded. So I sit on the poolside chair with my dad, feeling really bad, knowing I've broken the rules, looking up every now and then, oh no, this is bad. And I see Malcolm in the pool having fun, wishing, and I see an ice cream cart. And that is the thing that caught my eye. And I spent an hour sitting by that pool next to my dad, looking up, then looking down, then looking at that ice cream cart. Because I had a sweet tooth like nothing, like nobody's business. And my dad sees me staring at that ice cream cart. I look up at him and he's looking down at me and he says, "Kim?" I say, "Yes, Daddy." "Kim, would you like an ice cream?" "I would, Daddy, yes." He says, "What kind would you like?" I say, "I would like a king-sized ice cream sandwich, please." And so he gets up, very stern. He takes my hand and we walk over to the ice cream cart and he buys me an ice cream and he hands it down to me. And in this trip, I've been more afraid of my mistakes, of my father's larger-than-life hands, of my grandmother. And then I'm holding this ice cream sandwich and I look up and I realize, yeah, I really messed up, but I don't really have to be afraid anymore, and that I'm forgiven. That's my story. Next up is Kashim.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Kim's Senior Expedition. Kashim, my story is more of like a stereotype of like activities black people should do and like activities white people should do, and how I like kind of fall in between that. And it started off in like 8th grade when my gym teacher, Miss Janelle, she pulled me aside and she asked me, she said, "What are you doing this summer?" I was like, "I don't know, probably playing basketball and, you know, going to the beach." Well, she's like, "What if," I asked you if you could, what if I offered an opportunity to go rock climbing? And I was like, "Oh, rock climbing, that's cool." You know, I never done it before. I heard about it, I watched it, I seen the danger of it, but I was still like interested in it. Well, she's like, "Well, I can't just offer it to you, you have to go to an interview. And the interview's in the library, and you could go right now. I give a pass for you to go to teachers. You could tell me in the library, you'll be fine." So as I was walking into the library door, I see Muhammad Noor. He's goes to there. He's a A+ student. You know, he's leading the class in grades. He's doing good. He's interactive. He's that model student that people look for to thrive from their programs. And I walked in, I was like, "Hey, Muhammad, how you doing, man?" He's like, "Good." You know, I caught up with him. And I was like, in the back of my head, I was thinking, could I match up to him? You know? He got everything they're looking for, and I'm just this kid. I just got pulled aside from gym class, you know? He walked in all confident. He's like, "You know, I got this, you know." But in my mind, I was like, "Oh, snap, yo. I don't think I could get this." You know, but I played it cool because I didn't talk much in like middle school. But I was cool with him, so, you know, he didn't like shame me about it, but he was like, "You know, you'll be fine, don't worry about it. Just act like you're an A+ student, you know." Don't talk like you're from the streets, talk like, you know, with proper. I was like, "All right, man, all right, whatever." So I walked in there, and the director of the program, Mike Jules, and alumni he brought in with them. And the first thing he asked me is like, "So what is your name? And why are you interested in this?" I was like, "Oh, well, I'm Kashim Naipir. I got pulled aside from gym class. Miss Janelle said I could be good for the program. So that's why I'm here." It's like, "Well, okay, we'll get a couple questions for you, and I hope you don't mind answering them." So I was like, "Yeah, good, it's fine." But he's asked me, "So, again, why are you interested? Like, I tried to make it up in mind, so I was like, yeah, okay, I like sports and that's all rock climbing. Why don't you try it? So it's like, okay, so where are you from? I was like, I'm from Sudan. I was like, oh wow, you're international student. I was like, yeah. So like, do you speak other languages? I was like, yeah. It's like, oh, that's good. He checked it. I was like, oh, I got that box. I told him, oh, I'm good on that one. You know, I'm diverse. It needs diverse student. And he's like, well, how long have you been in the States? At that time, I've only been in the state for 8 years. So he's like, you know, you speak well for someone who's been here for 8 years. So I was like, oh. I thought it was just like, you know, normal talk, but he's like, you speak well for your age group. And Muhammad out here is like, you know, he's cool, he don't do much, but you know, he just his grade is iffy, but you know, he's a nice guy. But compared to him, he was like that student. But yeah, he didn't really want that. He wanted someone who was willing to interact and try new things, and I was like, oh, I fit that box. See you checking that. And then his assistant, the alumni, he's like, well, you know, this program might change your life. You know, I was like, really? Yeah, you know what? She's like, look at me, I'm still here. Yeah. It's like, oh, okay. You know, because they said it will change your life, but does it really change your life? And that's what I was keep thinking in my head. And she was like, yeah, it might have a profound impact on you. So I was like, all right, that's cool. And I just walked out of the interview room, hoping I might get it, but I know like there's a slight chance I'm not because of Muhammad. You know, he's like, he has a 99 chance of getting it, and I have like the 72. You know, it was iffy, you know, I don't know. I was like, yeah, you seem I'm trying to math skill on that one. But yeah. So like months go by, I didn't hear anything, and Muhammad, he kept getting emails from him. I was like, oh, damn. I might have lost it. And he's like, keep getting emails like, oh yeah, the guy talked to me a couple weeks ago. I was like, oh, that's cool. And have you heard anything? I was like, nah. You know what I mean? I don't know. I haven't checked my emails. Basically basketball. I was like, all right, yeah, let me know. I was like, yeah, whatever. And months go by, and Miss Janelle, my gym teacher, she's like, have you got any mail or email back from them? You know, they've been contacting me and say you haven't gotten a hold of them. It's like, well, Muhammad is bragging right here, like he got it, and I'm out here, I'm like stressing out. I was like, you know, whatever. She's like, yeah. 2 weeks later, Miss Janelle came and talked to me. She's like, you know, you got it right. They're waiting for you to like sign a couple papers, say you're willing to go try this out. And I was like, I got happy that time. You know, I checked it out. I was like, oh, I got in. It's this summer. I'm gonna go rock climbing up in North Conway with Kismet Rock Foundation. So I walked up to Muhammad in the hallway. I was like, what's up, Muhammad? Muhammad was good. What's up? You know, he's like, yeah, man, I'm chilling. So have you heard from your rock climbing things? It's like, nah. No guy said I wasn't gonna get in. In my back of my mind, I didn't say anything. I was like, oh yeah, for real? I didn't want to like, you know, brag about it. I was like, oh man, it's all good. I got in though, you know. So he's like, huh? I was like, yeah. He called the house and he messaged me and emailed me. He's like, yeah, I'm in. I said, oh, that's good for you, man. He left. Shook my head and left. So then I didn't really talk to him after that because I was like, oh, awkward, you know, because you guys were just competing to go rock climbing for the summer. You don't have to really do much for it. And then that school year went by. We're still friends, and it was June, so they sent me another mail of like, you know, to bring lists and like what not to bring, what to do, and like what not to do when you're on the rocks. And as I went to like where they were gonna pick me up was like King Middle School, I realized I was the only kid there. Because usually they take two, and I thought they picked like another girl because they want two, one girl, one boy. I mean, yeah, one girl, one boy from the school. And I was the only one at the pickup place. And I looked, I was like, am I the right spot? Is this the right ticket to get in there? It's like, yeah, this lady came in. Her name was Beth. She's like, I'll be a driver to take you up to Kismet Rock Foundation this summer, and I bought some snacks for you. It's gonna be a long ride. And that day it was like 79 degrees, humid, hot. bright sunny days. And I was like, I had like suitcase and everything, and we drove down to Boston. I was like, why are we heading down to Boston? Well, we picked different kids from different states, and you're the lucky one from Maine, and there's 2 from Boston, 2 from Mass, and 2 from everywhere. So all right, cool. So we drove down there, the whole bus ride, hot, humid, couldn't breathe, couldn't do anything. I said, is there AC in this bus? Like, no, it broke down, And I couldn't breathe at all. It was just all humid. And we went and picked up this kid named Dennis. And he was like, oh, another black kid. I was like, oh, cool, all right, I'm not here alone, I have another black kid to communicate with, to talk to. And then as we made our way up north to New Hampshire, we picked up Esmeralda and Gage, Spanish and white kids. I was like, okay, that's cool, diverse. I was like, we're looking for. So those were the couple kids that we picked up on our way, and there we met a local girl named Colby and Licia. And one was like Mexican, and one was like local. She was white. So like, all right, I guess this is the group I'm stuck with for the year. And I was there. I didn't talk to anybody. I was from Maine. They didn't know me. I didn't know them. So none of us interacted the whole ride there until the last 30-second. Like we almost got to the destination, and the squirrel ran by in front of like the truck. And the bus lady, she was like already had it with us, because they were chatting, but I was like in the back. I didn't talk. It was hot. She needed a cigarette. God, I have to get done with these kids and go home and smoke my cigarette and leave them. And she stepped on the brake hard, and everybody just leaned for this. I almost hit my head off like the other seat in front of me, and everybody was just like swinging their head, all going. And I told them, like, is she gonna kill us? Are we going the right way? Is this the right driver? It's like, yeah, just don't worry about it. And I told Gage, it's like, you good? He's like, yeah, my neck kind of sore. She almost killed us then. And when we got to the house, the director, Mike Jewell, was like, well, welcome to the program. It's gonna be a good opportunity for you guys to learn about the nature and outdoor activities. And in my head, I'm like, wow. I'm really doing something that out of my comfort zone and out of what my usual friends would do, in the neighborhood. And I just got back into the moment. I was like, oh yeah, thank you for accepting us and welcoming us to the program. And the first night was cool. We got to know each other, and we just learned more about each other. And the next day was the day of climbing. I thought we were gonna hit it right away. We were gonna hit up, climb 50 feet up, see a good view. But not really. We went to a White Horse. It's just a small little sort of mountain in North Conway. It was just a small, climbing wall. It's like, oh, this is easy. I could do this, lightweight. So as I was climbing, I slipped. I said, yo, damn, man, this sport is dangerous, man. This rope is pretty stretchy, It's like, yeah, that's how it's built. So in case when you fall, you don't stop right away. It's there for you to support your weight. I was like, all right, man, I kind of don't trust. Can you do it a little bit tighter? He's like, yeah, no problem. Just pull me up. I fell again. I scratched myself. I was like, damn. You know what? I think I'll take a break. Let the people go first. And they were doing it. The local kids were climbing. Like, no problem. The Boston kid's struggling. He's like, I was like, damn, man. The other black kids was like, yeah, I feel you, man. This is not us. I told her, this is not us, man. I don't know if we can do this, man. This program might not be close. I was like, you know what? Let's just stick through for the week, see how it goes. And the week went on, and we went on to difficult climbs and stuff. And I began to fall in love with the rock climbing sport. And when it was our final day there, the director's like, I hope you guys enjoyed your week here. I hope you guys will come back. And if you do, we definitely have a spot for you guys. And I thought it was just a 1-week program, but it turned out it was a 4-year scholarship to keep coming back over the year. So I was humbled to be accepted into it and finally do something out of my comfort zone. And to just do something that's not considered, a white activity or a black activity, just something you do if you love. And that's my story.
tonight.
Did I just start? Okay, my name is Camille Rosie. I have a cold right now, so it might be hard to like project, but stop laughing. I was born from the Democratic Republic of Congo in Kinshasa, and I moved here when I was 10 years old, and it was really hard to fall in line with what kids were doing here, because like back home was so different. And like you guys have probably heard a lot about the Congo, and my family has been blessed because like there's so much things going on, but like I never really got to experience most of the stuff, because like it's weird how like you don't really realize what's going on until you leave, because I really didn't know anything about what was going on in my country until I came here. So yeah. Yeah, so I'm kind of gonna talk about my mom and like how African parents or foreign parents treat their kids differently from like white parents, kind of. So like my dad got like a scholarship to study international law in China, and when I was like 3 or 4, so he was over there for like 6 years, and like when he was there, my mom was really tough on us, because like she didn't want us to like go to the wrong paths and stuff. So like she like threatened us and everything. If we ever did anything wrong, she'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna call the clown. He's gonna come get you." Cause like, you know when you're a kid, like when you're a kid, you just like you believe everything they tell you. So like whenever she said anything like that, I would get so scared. I would just stop misbehaving. Or like if I ever got like if I ever like did anything really bad, she'd like spank us. But like after a while, you get used to it. So like when I was a kid, from like 3 to like 7 or 8, like I would cry when she did it, and then like when I got older, I would just laugh because my mom was really short. Some of you guys have seen her. She's really short. She's really tough. So like I would just laugh, and it's mostly because like she tells a lot of jokes. So like whenever I'm with her, like we're always laughing and stuff. So like it's really hard to take her seriously when she is actually serious. But like, and what else would I use? I'm just trying to think. Yeah, I didn't come prepared. So like the clown thing, and then like, and look, whenever she she did anything, like I threatened to like tell my dad. It was all the way in China. He couldn't really do anything. I'd be like, "Dad, Mom hit me." And then she'd be like, and then he'd tell her, he's like, "I'm gonna tell her to stop." And I don't even think he did, but so I was just like, yeah. So and then I remember one time. This was after my dad came back. So like we lived like in a really big house, like in a. I wouldn't say jungle, but like it's suburban area. Suburban area, because like our house was like the biggest house there, so like we didn't. So it was kind of weird. So this big house with a red roof. So I was brought up as a Catholic, so I go to church. I used to go to church a lot. Like I would wake up early, like at 5 in the morning. Then wake up my mom and be like, "Mom, we have to go to church." I was like a really good kid back in the day.
Still are.
And they even nicknamed me the Wonders of God. You got like an angel or something like that. I was really nice, like if someone asked me for a cookie, like I'd give them the whole thing. But I was just a really nice kid. So it was a Sunday. My dad was back, and like he kind of recently got back, and like him and my mom were gonna go to a friend's house or whatever, and like we just came from church, and we picked up 2 of my really close friends back in Africa, and we went to my house, and we're gonna spend the day over at my house, and I was like about 8 or 7, and it was my 2 friends, me, my sister, and I. My sister and my brother. You look alike, so. Yeah, so like in Africa, like the electricity's fine, but like the water is an issue. Because like it was a house in the suburbs, and it's like to get the water from like the city to like the house was kind of difficult. Because like it was a house that was just built, so like we just moved into it. So like on Sundays, my mom, she usually doesn't make any like maids or any like helpers work on the Sundays. So like we were left alone in the house, but it wasn't really that big of a deal because it was like we had our friends that were our neighbors. We chilled with them and stuff. So yeah, and then it started raining. So when it rains in Africa, we like have these big blue containers, and like we put it outside, and like the water goes in, and we use that for like showering, and you can heat it up and stuff like that. So and there was no one home to do it, so we had to do it. Like me, my friends, and my sisters, and my brother, and we were all like really young people. We probably couldn't carry the thing with water. So like we put it out. My mom calls it. She's like, "Oh guys, put the water in the bins." We bring the bins. We fill up the water, and it was like 4 bins. And then we try to bring it inside. So as we try to bring it inside, we were really all struggling to get it in. Like we lost like half of the water, like on the process of getting it in. And like
No, keep talking.
okay, so once we got it in, it was only halfway full. So it was like, so we were all like, what's the point of this? They don't need it anymore. So we started playing around with it. Like we spilled most of it on the floor, on the bathtubs, and then we ran outside, started playing in the rain, and then we were like, oh, and then the rain stopped because like our plan was to play, have fun, and then fill up the bins and then just leave them outside. But the rain stopped, and all the bins were empty. So we're like, oh shoot. Like, mom was not gonna be happy about that. Cause like my mom she's really strict. I wish she was here, but she couldn't make it tonight. She's really strict, but she's also nice and funny at the same time. So like, yeah, so like she comes home with all like pretending to be sleeping. Because like we were so scared that we were gonna get the slaps, you know. So we're just all sleeping, and then she comes in and she's like, "Guys, what happened?" We all pretend that we didn't hear her. Like, guys, and then she just woke us all up. She's like, "Guys, what happened?" We're all so afraid that she was gonna do anything. She was gonna do something, and then we just like, and then she didn't do anything at all actually. So we were all like, excited and stuff. I think it was probably because my friends were home. Like, they kind of saved us, but yeah. So then the next day was fine, and then yeah, it wasn't that big of a deal. But now I'm gonna tell you guys a story about when I came to America. So when I first came to America, I was 10 years old, and I was enrolled at East End Community School with Kashin. And he was like the first person I knew, kind of. And I didn't really talk a lot. And then after I was in 5th grade. The next year I went to Cathedral School with Tony, Maddie. They were both my class. So Tony's like the man of the night today. Everyone. Yeah. So like.
How was our class, Camille?
So like when I first came to this class, I didn't really talk because I didn't know English. Because like in 5th grade there was ELL, so I was in that, and like most kids were kind of all similar, kind of like each kid were in different levels. But in Cathedral School there was no ELL, so I was the kids who like they knew each other because like they all started from kindergarten and just kept on going up because like you stay with the same class like throughout all your life basically. And so I was new to the school. I would just sit down. I didn't say a word for 6th grade. Totally knows. I didn't say a word for 6th grade because like I knew my English wasn't good, so I was like, what am I gonna say to these kids? So I just kept my mouth shut. And then this school was really bad. Like Patty said stuff, Viva said stuff. It was really, the kids were really disrespectful. And in Africa, there was no room for that. Like, I remember I got spanked in school for laughing at a kid who got spanked. The kid was getting spanked. It was so funny that I couldn't hold it in. Cause like back in the days, like I still do now, but I used to laugh. I laugh a lot. Like I just love laughing. So like when this kid was getting whooped, I just couldn't hold it. I just started laughing, and then the teacher called me up, and I got some too. And it was so bad that like if you got an answer wrong, like you know how they say what's 9 plus 10? If you said 21, you would get the whipping because they were so rigorous and really strict on like making sure like the kids knew what they were doing. I guess it kind of worked out because like I was a good student, I guess. Like it made me a good student. So then I come to this school, a cathedral, where kids don't really care. Like I remember this one kid, they tell him, "Oh, you have detention," and he says, and then they said, what was it? You have to go to detention. He said, I refuse. I was like, what is this? If I talked back at a teacher, I would have been in some pain. Like, what's the other story? There's more stories to this. Like Tony was probably one of the guys that was making trouble and stuff. And then eventually, like I started talking because my English got better, and I became good friends with most of these people. And I think that's pretty much it.
So, I think the major thing to take away from this is that there are a lot of really awesome storytellers here. And especially you guys, we should integrate this as well into, oh wow, choice of words. Yeah. But this is a moment to look at the speakers specifically for our Black Stories Matter night. But also I think that what is really important is to go to the Moth and bring these stories there. And so if any of you guys thought this was really interesting, then totally keep your ear to the ground, because we have another Moth at Casco and it's so much fun. And I hope that you guys all join us there, and I hope you guys all come too. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here.